Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Thursday, January 25th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see there will still be moving around. That's because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol PLUG. And been tracking this one very closely. And once again, has put in some higher highs and higher lows. So a little bit of a tricky chart to talk about from a presentation standpoint where I sit, because there's a lot of perspective that goes into it. Meaning if you're some sort of day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you bought right there, maybe you bought right there, and your plan was to buy and sell within 20 minutes, well then yes, from that perspective, the chart looks pretty rough because there was a bigger pullback here that occurred. However, taking a step back and looking at things from the bigger picture standpoint, let me move this over, you can see that overall, the lows have continued to get higher and higher and higher, and that includes today. So if you envision those as stair steps, very clearly the stair steps are still progressing in the upwards direction. Again, I fully understand that if you bought up here as a day trader, you don't really care about these stair steps. I'm just making the stair step comment from more so a bigger picture point of view. So yeah, it did pull back today, but overall, the chart is still perfectly fine in terms of putting in those higher lows. In terms of areas of resistance, two main levels to talk about. First one right there, 390, had already mapped that one out. But the second one is going to be more of a near-term level, and that'll be that pink line there, the 200 period moving average. But assuming you care about the bigger picture point of view, everything's still fine, putting higher highs and higher lows. Next one here, ticker symbol PHUN, and same general idea of what I just talked about. Yes, today the price did pull back today, so there has been a bit of a pullback. But looking at things from the bigger picture, so let me scroll this down. You can see that overall these lows have been doing just fine. When you go back to here, you had lows, and then lows there, and then a low there, then a low there, and then a low here. You get the idea. You still have those stair steps, broadly speaking, trending in the upwards direction. So that's a bigger picture point of view before I zoom back in. And in the very near term, a couple key areas of support, and this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video, but I talked about that purple line there, 50 period moving average. And sure enough, this morning, got it, broadly speaking, held strong. And then as I speak right now, you can see that this whole area forming quite a bit of congestion right around that purple line. And so far, so good. It is holding. Now, in the event the price actually drops down below it and breaks that 50 period moving average, still doesn't mean the entire chart's destroyed or anything like that. But the next key area of support that I'd keep a close eye on is down there right around that 30-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. If the price does bounce back upwards, then nothing new here to report in terms of areas of resistance. Still all about that level right up there at 48 cents, which I've talked about previously. So yeah, today maybe not the most exciting day, but from the big picture point of view, still putting in those higher highs and higher lows. Next one here, ticker symbol AMD, and beast mode continues. Just crazy how this thing continues to break these areas. In fact, today, both levels of resistance were broken above that I talked about previously, both the 170 and then the 174.65. So in other words, very, very strong day. I'll go ahead and get rid of that level. First update's just based on a foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. So moving forward, the ideal level, meaning for say, Clay, what makes this chart look the strongest moving forward? Well, yes, ideally now the price staying above 174.76 would accomplish that. But with that being said, if the price drops below it, not the end of the world, because from the overarching standpoint, you have the purple line there, the 50 period moving average, which you can actually see right there. It did a great job of holding strong. But this line is a moving average, meaning as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So as long as the price stays above the line, which is moving higher, then by default, the price is also moving higher. And that's what you want to see from a bullish uptrending standpoint. In terms of areas of resistance, very straightforward here. Just a question of where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at the 180.60 mark. So keep a close eye on that. But all in all, AMD remains very strong. Next one here, ticker symbol GETR. And overall, a rough looking chart right now. Started off very nicely on the day. Obviously, the big gap up and then made the move here. But that was basically all the bulls wrote. And after that, the bears are seemingly taking back over and pushing downwards. But you still have to give credit to the fact that it is still in a bullish context, just given the nature of the gap up itself. And it's still bullish also because it's above some key moving averages, specifically that purple line there and the pink line. And for those of you that like to buy pullbacks, you like to buy those situations, as I like to call it, is this kind of ugly looking right now? It is, but there can be opportunity in the ugly. And if you like those sorts of situations, then an interesting potential opportunity area down there around that purple line there Of course, there are no guarantees, which is why I say potential, because that's why risk management matters, no guarantees. But if the price were to come down here, could it find some support and then get a bounce back upwards? In my mind, that is a plausible situation. So again, guaranteed? No. Plausible? Absolutely. So if you like to play penny stocks, you like to play these, kind of opportunity within the ugly type situations, I definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, AMC, and unfortunately, it's looking like what had been a very, very impressive move from here all the way up to here has proven to essentially just be a dead cat bounce. Why do I say that? Well, the price has basically entered right back into where it already was. So if I move this down here, the lowest it went was right here. So has it dropped all the way down to where it was? It hasn't. The price has still got some space. But broadly speaking, when you consider that the price was down in this area, and you can see now that the price is once again back in that general area, that has implied that, yeah, price made a great move up and is now essentially gone right back to where it started. Now, this doesn't mean that AMC can't make another nice move or it can't, start to turn itself around once again. I'm just saying that as far as this move is concerned, it's really looking like that was just simply a dead cat bounce. Now, as far as updates are concerned, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level there. First key update, just based on a foundational rule, when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. And I'm actually also going to just drop this down because I would say the more near-term level of resistance and relevant one is right there at the 425 mark. But even if the price does break above there, I'd keep a very close eye on that purple line there, which you now know is the 50-period moving average. You can see that after the price broke below it, acted as resistance a couple times there, and then this morning acted as resistance. Actually, that was the main rejection point, and then down it went. And, now as I speak, basically flirting with lows on the day. In terms of next levels of potential support moving forward, interesting level right down there around the 404 mark. So keep an eye on that if this bleeding continues. But yeah, overall, looking like AMC was just a dead cat bounce. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'll be offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to get signed up. Or if you're watching right there at my website, there's an area on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, ticker symbol NFLX. Netflix had earnings. Market really, really liked those earnings, and now from a technical point of view, have a very solid pattern here. And what I like about the solid pattern is because it's a very popular stock, especially after all the news, you're going to have a lot of eyeballs watching the same general dynamics. And when you have the same eyeballs watching the same general dynamics, you can create some very, very nice price movements. Even if you just want to call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, fair enough. But the point being is, as traders, we want nice price movements. So the level here that you got to think a whole lot of people have drawn is that basic trend line right there. Again, basic is good because it's a relatively safe assumption to think that a lot of people are watching that trend line. So you put that into play, and then you just bring about the lows here from that opening period. And, not maybe some people wouldn't draw that line there, but that's fine because in my mind, that trend line right there is what matters the most. And then to keep this all the same color, maybe make the pattern easier to see. So we have our resistance, we have the support, we have the huge move up right there. For you golfers out there, let me make a little more visual. Put the golf hole down here, and this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So nothing is guaranteed, but it is certainly plausible that the price can turn itself around, get to the top part of the pattern, and break up through it. That break in of itself could create additional buying pressure. So whether you're trading stocks or probably more so options for this one because it is a pretty expensive stock. But even if you do trade stocks or options and you like these sorts of bull pennant patterns, definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol TSLA, and this will mean more to those that have been watching the past videos, but you know that I've been talking about this falling wedge pattern, and I mean the power of charts. And I'll turn this into a quick plug. Go get signed up for that free webinar because charts, are they a perfect tool? No, nothing's perfect. But are they valid? Absolutely, and if you don't believe me, that's fine. You can say, well, Clay, you just put in those lines just now. Fair enough, but all you got to do is go back in the archive, watch the videos from the past few days, and you'll see, no, that trend line's been in there for quite a while, and check it out. Once again, this area has been very, very annoying, namely right here. Look at it today. Just rejected time and time again off that trend line. So, I mean, what a stubborn level, but it's still one of those interesting levels because you got to think if the price can push up through there and get the break, then maybe that generates some more upside buying pressure. Granted, there are earnings after market today, so I'm assuming there's going to be a gap up in some direction. But at the end of the day, I still personally think this falling wedge is more than valid. Does it gap down here and bounce off there again? Does it gap up around here and get rejected? Only time will tell there. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you have a falling wedge going into earnings. So how will things turn out? Grab some popcorn, grab some Sour Patch Kids, and let's see what happens. Next one here, ticker symbol SPRC. And I like this one quite a bit because as we head into the close, market close in about 4 minutes, But we have the price knocking on the door right there of that resistance trend line. So this action right now, as I speak, brings us to a very interesting question headed into Thursday. Is it going to break out? And if it does, will that be the start of something even bigger? And think about that question. It makes no sense to ask that question unless something worthwhile is occurring. So, I mean, if I was to say, is this the start of something bigger? And you're saying, well, nothing's really happening, then, like I said, that makes no sense. But something is happening here. The price is currently doing battle with that trend line. So can it break? And if so, is that the start of a whole new breakout? Like I said, I think that's always an interesting and fun question to be asking, especially if you like these price range down below the $10 mark. So I definitely keep an eye on that dynamic. And then if you like to play more so pullbacks, you have a nice little trend line right here as a support. And then just from a pattern standpoint, quickly throw this in here. So resistance, support, big move up, golf hole down here. We have ourselves another variation of a bull pennant pattern. But I mean, check it out as I speak. Knocking on the door right there. Market closes now in 3 minutes. So can it break? And if so, is that the start of a much bigger technical breakout? Let's see what happens on Thursday. Next one here, ticker symbol SOXS, which is an ETF for the semiconductor space, meaning if the semiconductor space has a good day, this one will actually go down because it's a bearish inverse, meaning it does the opposite of what the semiconductor index actually does. So if semiconductor stocks are having a great day, this one will actually be having a bad day. If semiconductor stocks are having a bad day, this one will actually be having a good day. So it just works inversely to what's going on in the semiconductor market. But like Tesla, we have a pattern here that is in play. Hopefully you remember what it was called. And this is one of my favorite patterns. That's why I like to get it mapped out when it does happen. So we have our support part of the pattern. And we have the resistance part of it. So we have ourselves another falling wedge pattern, which goes right along with that question that we were just asking. Can it break? Is there a breakout of this falling wedge pattern? And if it does break, is that going to just generate that much more strength? Now, even if it does break, still got to be a little skeptical because not that far away, unfortunately, is that downward sloping, looming 50-period moving average. But if the price can break out through there and then also get a break of there, that would be a very big sign that this thing is picking up some momentum in the upwards direction. So at the end of the day, if you just like anything that is a falling wedge down below, so you're like, well, I don't really care if it's an inverse of anything. I just want to trade the ticker symbol and patterns. So if that's your mentality and you like falling wedges, you like those down below the $10 range, I would definitely keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if the NASDAQ market is having a good day and going up, then this one will also go up. And once again, higher highs and higher lows. But like I talked about in a previous one, sort of difficult to talk about from a presentation standpoint because it's all about perspective. If you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, you were buying up there and you wanted to buy and sell within 2 minutes, from that angle, yes, the chart's looking really, really bad because you did get the pullback. But from an overarching standpoint, I'm the NASDAQ, and therefore this one has been having a very nice run, higher highs, higher lows. So from an overall standpoint, the chart is still perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level, make the first update. And again, when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, they tend to act as support. So right around 55, 65-ish, give or take, going to be that key area of support. And now you also have that purple line moving upwards, which looking like it'll become relatively, it'll probably cross up above that level tomorrow, which at that point, the purple line will take higher priority at that point in time. So keep an eye on those couple of levels there from support standpoint. In terms of areas of resistance, nothing fancy here. Literally just a question of where did the party finally stop today, and it stopped several times right up there around 57.85. So all in all, yeah, a bit of a pullback here today for the NASDAQ, but big picture wise, the trend is still clearly bullish. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely go get signed up for that free live webinar. It'll be very soon, Thursday, January 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely get signed up and I'll see you there hopefully very soon. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, if you'd like for me to continue to make these, do a couple things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Tell me what you traded today. Give me your watch list for tomorrow, but those couple things communicate to me that you enjoy. And as long as I know you're enjoying, I will continue to put in the time and effort to get this content out to you. So thanks for watching. Go get signed up for that free webinar. Have a good one.